Well, with do-it-yourself home improvement projects increasing during the pandemic, Nainesh Kotak from Kotak Law joins us to talk about some of the hazards and injuries that could happen with these do-it-yourself projects and the tools used to do them. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Bob. How are you today?
Good, good. So happy Monday. So the big box stores are claiming their sales are going through the roof as people get into home improvement projects and, again, buying tools or equipment. So potentially there could be more claims here. But this is a very complicated area, isn't it, of personal injury law with product liability?
Absolutely. Look, the reality is during these unfortunate COVID times, there's been more people at home. And there's been less tradespeople, in fact, who will come into homes and do work. So you're finding people are actually, starting those projects themselves. So a couple of things to think about here. There are statistics coming out of England, and I think they'll be very similar here. The Oxford Eye Institute has said there's a greater percentage of eye injuries due to do-it-yourself projects, and also they're finding hand injuries, probably due to power tools. So most of the injuries in these projects are actually caused by the handler themselves. So it's important, I think, that you plan ahead, have someone, a buddy to help you out with the project if you're going to be done. But if it really is too complicated, just put it aside and leave it for the trades. There are, Bob, however, some circumstances where there is a manufacturing defect. This does happen. To prove that, you'd have to show, first of all, that the manufacturer was negligent either in the design or, in fact, in the labeling of the product. And that negligence led to the injury, and that injury was reasonably what's called foreseeable to the actual manufacturer. You did mention the big box stores. It actually is a lot harder to find responsibility on those stores because they're not making the product. I suppose if they switch labels, mislabeled, they drop the product, or there was really an obvious patent defect to the product, a liability could in fact be found on them in those situations.
Are there any example claims or landmark cases?
Right. There are many class actions that occur out there. And, again, they all point to that duty of care. You mentioned the type of cases that could lead to negligence finding and results. I would suggest, look, if you are injured as a result of the product, there's a couple of things that you ought to do. One is, take pictures if you can. Keep the product for inspection. You might be able to get an engineer or have someone do that for you to inspect and see if there's a defect. The other way to find out about particular products is, if other people have been injured as well, you can simply, you Google them and see if there's a class action out there in the United States or even in Canada, because likely, you're not the only one who got hurt with it. We've had a couple of cases this year that popped up, due to electrocutions from saws. So, a lot of times, people are falling and things like that. But sometimes, there's burns and other types of injuries that actually are, cause internal injury and are quite in fact long lasting.
These things are time sensitive too, aren't they?
Absolutely. There is, in Ontario, we have a 2-year limitation period to sue from, when you reasonably ought to have known that the injury was present. And most likely that would be in the, right when you were hurt, if it's serious enough. The other thing to watch out for, Bob, is this. If you take the project on for yourself, it's a fireplace, whatever it might be, you make it yourself, and you invite your buddies or friends over, and they come over, and they're injured as a result of the way you assemble something, you, in fact, could be liable. And you'd have to turn to your home insurance, hopefully, if you have that, to cover you in that situation. So it really, I would say, obviously, it's in our spirit. We want to do these projects. If people are home, certainly do them, but be very careful because it could even lead to personal liability if you build something wrong and you actually hurt people with it.
Yeah, well, something certainly to be concerned with when we start these projects. And more information certainly at kotaklaw.com. Nainesh, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Take care.
All right. We're back after this fast break with more Morning Live.